Welcome back to Old School Sports and a new series for us here on the channel in Out of the Park Baseball 25. Going to be a mini series over the next couple of weeks, taking a look at the New York Yankees. Going to try to play this team for the next few seasons until there's been a patch or two on the game, and I feel more comfortable beginning a long play series, which we'll certainly be doing this year as we have in previous seasons. The Yankees, for those of you who are new to the channel, are my favorite team, and I don't have a ton of confidence that the Yankees are going to be winning a title this season, particularly with the injury issues that Garrett Cole is experiencing. So fortunately for me in OOTP, he's perfectly healthy right now. So we are going to take this opportunity to learn the game over the next few seasons, hopefully get ready and better prepared for a successful long play that will probably be starting towards the end of this month or early in April, and learn about some of the new features in the game. I'm not going to go in incredible detail in this first season. I am more of a GM player than a manager type player. So basically, I just want to try to get this team to the next off season so I can start rebuilding it in my own image. We are playing with owner goals, and we've got a few owner goals here. There had been a goal to upgrade third base, and I think we may look to do that at some point by getting rid of DJ LeMahieu. That being said, was a goal that I could negotiate, and one of the options was to extend Juan Soto, and I definitely want to do that, and I hope the Yankees do that in real life as well. So I figured that would be a very easy goal for me to try to achieve to get off to a good start with Hal Steinbrenner. Looks like Soto's looking for 6 years, around $35 million a year right now. I'm going to try to limit the opt-outs for him a bit and ultimately get a little less money per year. I honestly wouldn't mind getting him for more than 6 years, kind of a rare situation where I'd be willing to go more years. But I'd like to keep the optionality in our favor if at all possible. So I've extended the years to 8 on this, but only an average of $32 million a year. He's looking for 35.3, so it may be a little aggressive on my part. Also have taken out the player options. He wanted one after the second year. There's a team option in Team 7 and then a player option in Team 8. I don't think he's going to go for this. It's really just a matter of how much he dislikes it. And you can see he wants to do shorter now, keep the player options in. Has come down a little bit in terms of the average salary, so hopefully we can meet in the middle, but I have a feeling I'm probably going to need to give him a player option earlier rather than later in the contract. We've upped the annual value a little bit to $32.5 million, so we're about $1 million less than he was looking for. We've gone to 6 years, but we do give him the player opt-out before we have a team opt-out. I wanted it after the 4th season rather than the 2nd like he was asking for. And he's still pretty insistent on getting his terms. Probably our last chance to come back to him with something else. Given that this isn't a long-term play for me, I probably don't need to be too detail-oriented here, but I'd certainly love to get him locked up for more than 2 guaranteed seasons, but at this point I'd say it kind of is what it is, unfortunately. So we're up to a $33 million average, still trying to get 4 years. We give him the player option after the 3rd. And he's willing to think about that. So potentially a decent start here, getting Soto locked up for 4 years, up to $132 million. We've got plenty of money for extensions available when we look at our salaries next year, although with locking Soto up, that will leave us with 5 very expensive contracts, all at over $25 million a year, and all for another 4+ seasons. So a pretty significant commitment, but if there's anyone who's deserving of it in baseball, Juan Soto is probably on the short list. You can see we don't have a ton of players signed for next year, and we've got a number of arbitration eligible players as well. So it's going to be a bit tricky for us. We've got money for extensions, but we also, as I noted, don't have a lot of players signed. So don't think I'm going to be making a lot of other long-term commitments right now, but certainly we'll be looking on the free agent market and in the trade market this season to see if there's anyone who can potentially bolster our team and be on it, hopefully, for the medium term rather than just a short-term, quick relationship. And we've simmed ahead a few days. We've signed about a dozen players just to bolster our farm system, give us a little depth. Most importantly, Soto did sign the contract with him, so we've got the extension with him. The fans very excited about it, but it was only a 1-point bump in fan interest, so apparently they weren't really that excited about it. Still good to have him locked up. That will help with Mr. Steinbrenner, given that that was a high priority goal for him. Other goal that's going to be applicable in the near term is reaching the playoffs this season, which hopefully we will do. A very disappointing year for the Yankees last year when they were barely 500 and not in the playoffs. And for those of you who thought that me getting Juan Soto for $33 million over 4 years was a little unrealistic. $33 million average over 4 years. Blake Snell just signed with Boston for $13.4 million for 1 year. So looks like there might be a little bit of calibration needed as far as the contracts in the game. Jordan Montgomery, $12.2 million a year to sign with the Angels. Also on a 1-year deal. I think part of it is just that most teams in these early stages of the game are kind of likely right up against it in terms of the financials, but still a little bit goofy. At least they weren't real long-term contracts that those two signed, so they'll both be on the market again next fall or this coming fall. And we've made it 2 months into the season, a very tight battle in the AL East. We are in third, but we're only a half a game behind Baltimore and only 1 game behind the division-leading Blue Jays. So we're up 3.5 games on the Astros and the Rays for the final wild card at this point. So in a decent position right now to make the playoffs, which is one of ownership's goals for us. Taking a look at the team statistics, not a very good offense. Rank 11th in the National League in the American League in runs scored. The pitching staff's been really good thus far, though. We rank 3rd in the National League in runs allowed. So things are going okay for the Yankees. Our 33-26 record is one better than Pythagorean expectations. We've been playing much better baseball in May than we did in April, and hopefully we can keep that going over the next month or so and put ourselves into a position where we'll be fairly confident that we're going to be in the playoffs in October. And we made it to the All-Star break, 53-45 record, 3 games behind in the American League East, 3rd place, still in that 3rd wild card spot, 4 games free of the Mariners and the White Sox, so still feeling like we've got a pretty decent chance to get these Yankees back into the playoffs here in 2024. We are also at the All-Star break right now. Take a look at the All-Star game rosters, and in the American League, not a ton of Yankees on the team, but Aaron Judge, who is batting just .222, but does have 28 homers and 59 ribbies, makes the team. Juan Soto, hitting .290 with 24 homers and 50 ribbies, is also named an All-Star. But that is it for the Yankees. None of our pitchers, despite the fact that the last time we checked in, the pitching staff was doing very well, made the team. We've also recently completed the draft. We've got some players that we have signed, still waiting to hear on a couple players. Our second and third round picks, Henry Allen and Cade Erambide. In the first round, even though we were picking near the end of the round, went with Chase Mobley, who we think could be a interesting starting pitching prospect down the line. But as I noted that no pitchers on the All-Star team, things have definitely flipped since the last time we checked in. We've improved to fourth in the American League in runs scored, but we've slipped all the way back to 11th in runs allowed. Starters doing okay with the fifth best ERA in the American League, but the bullpen has not been good, ranking 13th in ERA. And you can see after that really good May, we had a strong June. Unfortunately, we're just 4-8 here in July, so not playing as well as we have been. Taking a look at the pitching leaders for us. Cole 8-8 with a 4.45 ERA. Rodon 5-7, 4.38. Marcus Stroman leads the team in wins and has a 3.81 ERA. Nestor Cortez just 4-6, and then Clark Schmidt 8-3 with a 3.55 ERA, having one of the better seasons out of our bullpen. Clay Holmes has not been good. A 5.40 ERA with 29 walks in 43 1/3 innings as our closer. Laziga and Conley have done pretty well as setup men. Ian Hamilton and Caleb Ferguson have not been good in middle relief. Luis Gil not having a great year. Cody Morris and Victor Gonzalez have been respectable for us, although Gonzalez supposed to be in a specialist role, and that must have been changed at one point. We'll take a look at how our lineup sits here. We know that Soto and Arson Judge are having pretty productive years as far as the home runs, but what's the rest of the offense look like? And Soto and Judge, not surprisingly, are the two top guys on the team in WAR. Glaber having a good year, hitting 277, 16 homers, 52 ribbies. Jose Trevino at catcher, good year for him with a 1.6 WAR. Trent Grisham, only hitting 221, does have 11 home runs, and he's been good for us defensively. Anthony Volpe, the batting average just 216, does have 13 homers and 25 steals, which is clearly a team best. But we're hoping that he ultimately might hit for a higher average than he has been. Verdugo hitting 311 in 173 at-bats. DJ LeMahieu hitting 253. Cabrera 275. Peraza 243. Stanton does have a 21 home run and 47 ribby first half of the year. The 21 homers ranking third on the team, and the 47 ribbies ranking fourth. But he's hitting just 224 with a 292 on base percentage, and he's been a league average offensive player with that 100 OPS plus. Rizzo also definitely not good, hitting just 216 with 14 homers, 51 ribbies. I guess that actually means that Stanton is fifth on the team in ribbies. And then our backup catcher, Ben Rortvet, hitting just a $176 for us. So some solid offensive years, but certainly when we get to the off season, I think outside of Soto and Judge, there's very few people. I guess Volpe would be another one whose spots on the team next year are assured. Unfortunately, Stanton's spot on the team is probably assured as well. But other than that, it's going to be a very interesting offseason for us. So we're hoping to get there in the not-so-distant future. In our next episode, we're going to finish up the regular season, see if we can guide this Yankees team back into the playoffs. And then the fun stuff will be happening when we get to the playoffs, or when we get to the postseason. It's sad that I think that the off season is even more interesting than the regular season, but particularly when you're taking over a new team in OOTP. Definitely, my goal is just to get that first season in the books as soon as possible, and then put yourself in a position where you can start building and or rebuilding that team in your own image. Until our next episode, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.